Who told you about me?
We need you!
The newest episode of Fear the Walking Dead just aired a little bit early on AMC Plus, and I just watched it. I'm going to review it for you guys, give you my first reaction to it. This was a Dwight and Sherry-centric episode, and if you know me, you know that I really enjoy the Dwight and Sherry-centric episodes. Dwight and Sherry, honestly, are two of my, I won't say favorite characters in the Walking Dead universe at this point in time, in this current timeline, but they're high up there. Before I get into the review, though, this will have some spoilers in it, so if you haven't watched the episode, go watch the episode, then come back and watch this. However, it's not going to be a play-by-play. I'm not going to talk about every single thing that happens. I'm just going to talk about the main things that I liked, the main things that I disliked, and my biggest takeaways. Also, subscribe. I talk about the Walking Dead universe all the time on this page. I review and I discuss every single episode as it airs, but I also talk about other TV shows, I talk about movies, I talk about gaming all the time, I do trailer reactions, and 90% of what I do on this channel leans towards the genre of horror. Anyway, let's start with the pros. The biggest being for me personally, again, that this was a Dwight and Sherry-centric episode. I really love those characters, and I really love the plot lines that they go through since they've joined Fear the Walking Dead, even though they're sadly underutilized and underused, in my opinion. Dwight and Sherry in season 6, I was really interested and engaged in their plot line. Same within season 7, honestly. However, I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite because of a con that I'm gonna say a little bit later in this video. So this episode has Dwight returning to Virginia, and we actually see him return to the sanctuary. I really wasn't expecting this. And being a Walking Dead fanboy, I lost my shit. I was so excited because it looks like the sanctuary set is still there. I thought that they would have torn it down by now, and maybe they rebuilt it for this one episode, but I'd honestly kind of find that hard to believe. But to me, it looks like the exact same set. It looks exactly like the sanctuary as we saw it in the Walking Dead universe. It's more deteriorated, and there's a new group of enemies living within it. I don't think that they're previous saviors. I don't think they're anyone tied to any past plot line. I just think it's a new group of people who just settled down in the sanctuary. And Dwight meets a dude looking for insulin, and if you remember, Dwight, when we first met him, was trying to find insulin for Sherry's sister. It was a little bit on the nose and a bit unbelievable, but Dwight kind of addresses that throughout this episode, saying it can't be a coincidence that he's back at the sanctuary, that he's dealing and trying to help someone that needs insulin. From a writing perspective, it's very unbelievable, like a lot of things in Fear the Walking Dead and in the Walking Dead universe in general, but from a character arc perspective, me personally, I kind of like them bringing everything kind of full circle. And as the episode progresses, Sherry shows up with June and Dove, and then Dove gets shot by the people that Dwight wronged that are living in the sanctuary, and then they try and save Dove's life while stuck in the sanctuary, and walkers surround it while the enemy group is also trying to kill them. And in this episode, we see a lot of flashbacks. We see Daryl on screen, we see Negan on screen, just archival footage, but it's really cool. And it's just kind of crazy to me how well, in my opinion, that Fear the Walking Dead is sort of tying together every single era of the Walking Dead universe, because last episode we got a Jeremiah Otto name drop, a name that I never thought that we'd hear uttered in this show, in this universe again. We've had references to the Broke Jaw Ranch, we've had references to the dam. Troy Otto is a main character again. And then in the very next episode, we have references and flashbacks to The Walking Dead season 7 and 8. And those two seasons, season 3 of Fear and season 7, 8 of The Walking Dead, are so separate, so different. They exist on almost two different planes. At least that's how it used to be. But I really appreciate how Fear the Walking Dead right now is just tying everything together, making it feel like it is one universe even more than before. Walkers surround the sanctuary and the majority of the building falls. Dove does survive. Everyone in this episode does survive, and they return to Padre at the end to help fight against the war against Troy. I liked this episode, I really did, but now I'm gonna get into the cons, and the biggest con being not about this episode, but about this final season overall, is that we have such a huge plot going on. We have Troy returning, we have a war against Madison and Padre and everything, and we just spent a whole episode just around Dwight and Sherry. And with only 4 episodes left, I was nervous that they weren't gonna tie everything together, and now we only have 3 episodes left, and things are still left just as untied tied as before. I genuinely think that the end of Fear the Walking Dead is probably going to lead into some different spin-off, continuing the main plot lines that happen here. However, I could be completely wrong, and Fear the Walking Dead could just rush everything and not really finish this plot line or this show or this series in any satisfying way. And honestly, that's probably the more believable thing. And then when the episode ends, we see that Strand has kidnapped Troy's daughter, and I'm just so excited for this plot line. I'm excited to see Strand sort of embrace his villainy and see how that is against Troy and the villain that he currently is. Anyway, there's my quick and brief thoughts on the newest episode of Fear the Walking Dead. What did you think about this episode? Let me know in the comments. I'm sorry this video is shorter than it typically is. I just wanted to get some thoughts out today, and I don't have as much time to record today. Once again, let me know what you thought about the episode in the comments, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And thank you for watching, especially if you watched this far.
You shouldn't kill me when you had the chance!